Hi, I'm Louisa. I'm here today with Janine, and Janine's going to talk to us today about the joys of managing a business as well as working in a job. So, and also that difficult decision as to whether to start your business full time. So, I'm not going to tell you too much about Janine. I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell us a little bit more about her journey and how she's got where she is today. So, she's very inspiring, but you can find that out yourselves. So, Janine, thank you so much for coming on today. Hi.
Hi.
So if you want to tell us a little bit more about yourself, Janine, and just tell us how your journey, sort of where you are today, if you don't mind, please.
Yeah, no, thank you for inviting me, Louise, and I'm really excited about today. You know, I can talk quite a lot, so you just have to, you know. I'm Janine. I've worked full time since I was 17 years old. I've never had any time off work, and my career's been really quite successful. I never thought I'd get where I would get to, but you know, I did. I kept pushing it. It was very important to me, and I was very career minded, very driven and ambitious. You know, and I was quite successful at it, and I keep having to pat myself on the back for that.
Fantastic. So absolutely.
You know, being a success in a high pressure job, where it's obviously it has its challenges, and for me, what I do is I try and find alternative ways to relieve stress. One of the things that I do is mountain biking. So that's why, so there's two elements to my life. I suppose there's three when you think about family.
Of course, just a minor detail.
It's work-life balance. Got it right. So I'd go out and I'd ride my bikes just to keep, you know, mentally I needed to do that. So as going back a number of years, I've been riding mountain bikes now since about, 15 to 20 years, and I started, and it wasn't a sport that was involved many women at all at that particular time. So I did get a little bit tired about not having to have any ladies' clothing, and I was inspired to think, right, okay, I'm sick of wearing guys' clothes. I need to do something about this.
Yeah, feel a bit more feminine.
Yeah, to be a bit more feminine. Now, you were just wearing the guys' clothes that were just a size small and in black. That were, you know, that's all that were on offer for you.
Yeah.
So what I did is I thought about it, and you know, it was mulling around in the back of my mind for many years, and one day I just thought, right, okay, this is a big itch that I need to scratch. It wouldn't go away. I needed to do something about it, and I did. So I met this designer, and she was quite inspired by the fact that she was a fashion designer. She hadn't embarked on a career in any of the sportswear. So it was something completely different for her, and she was really up for the challenge. So we worked together for a couple of years, and it took exactly 2 years to get from a concept in my mind to actually have physical clothing to be able to sell online.
Wow, so that's quite very determined then to get it out. That's quite a long time, isn't it?
Yeah, yes, it was. And you know, you're always thinking about, am I doing the right thing? And I tend to go with the flow. You know, if it feels right, we have to do it. But there were times where I did think, am I doing the right thing? Being quite successful in my career, in what I did for work, and talking to people about the specialties that I'm experienced in, and then just transferring over to a ladies' mountain bike clothing range, setting up a business on my own, not knowing anything about business. I had a real dip in confidence because, one, I think I was really quite fearful of how people would receive this clothing that I designed, that was my passion, that I'd put my heart and soul into. And I think for a short period of time, Louisa, I felt like, you know, I was reluctant to put it out there. And I think if I had the time over again, I would have just bitten the bullet, just gone for it, and just seen what happened. I dilly-dallied too long, you know, because I were very tentative.
Yeah.
Because, you know,
maybe until you're putting it out there, and what if someone doesn't like it? You know, it's quite scary. It's quite a vulnerable position to be in, isn't it?
Yeah, it was absolutely. I was so vulnerable, and you know, the confidence. It just took a bit of a nosedive. I felt like I was a 16-year-old girl again, just starting my first job. I didn't know anything about it, but I knew that what I needed to do was have a lot of self-development. So I did a lot of networking. I I read a lot of books about owning your business, particularly in sales. Obviously, I needed to sell.
Yeah.
Never got an experience in selling. The only thing that I've got is that I'm good at talking to people.
We can build relationships then. That's a big part of selling, isn't it?
It is, and you know, and as time went on, I realised that, you know, you just have to be yourself, and you just have to talk to people just to get your brand out there. But embarking on that I was absolutely terrified. I could stand up in 100 people and talk to them about all the work that I do on a day-to-day basis around my professional career, but standing up in a networking event, telling people that I've got a ladies mountain bike clothing range and I provide this wonderful service, and it fits in all the right places, and it's tailored for ladies. It makes them they look and feel great when they're out riding the bike, you know, and that was really, really, really uncomfortable for me, to be fair.
Well, good on you for doing that. And you can tell, obviously, by what you've done, that you will overcome challenges. And I think in business, there are a lot of challenges to overcome. So you, like, even though you felt vulnerable and nervous, you have kind of like took the bull by the horns and hit it head on, really, haven't you? And gone to these events. And because I think networking events are very, very daunting, I think. Like you, I'm a chatter, very confident person. But when you go there, I feel like it's very, very nerve-wracking.
Yeah, you know, it absolutely is, you know, because eyes are on you, and like we've said, it's your baby, it's your passion, it's something that you've put your heart and soul into, and you want people to receive it well, you know. I think after about when I started getting my name out there and trying to get the brand out there, it was very difficult for me in a sense that I felt embarrassed to talk about it. Yeah. You know, I had to really, really dig deep inside, because I was just so, like I said before, I was just so fearful that I was just going to get rejected. But I
can relate to that with my, obviously, you know, I've got my skincare range, and just to tell people that I've done it, you feel a bit like, yeah, it's mine, and like almost hanging your head, when really you should be stood there proud, going, this, and good on you, Janine, for doing that. I mean, I've actually got one of your tops, and it does fit amazingly, so I can actually vouch.
Thank you.
First experience. I don't do mountain biking, but I actually use it for running, and because I feel a bit self-conscious at the top of my arms, it covers, so it's perfect.
Oh, brilliant. I'm glad you like it, Louisa.
I do. I
digress. Well, yeah. So just going on talking about, it took me about, I would say, 9 months to actually be comfortable talking about the business that I'd created, the products that I'd created. I felt like at first I didn't really take full ownership of it because of the rejection that I was going to get. But then you just have to, through the self-development, through talking to other business owners, through having conversations with them and understanding how they actually felt when they were starting their business, really helped, because we're all in it together, you know. In some ways you're all supporting each other, and I had key people that I could go to and just have a bit of a conversation. They just build me up, and then, like yourself, you know, they just build me up and just say, right, just get it out there, just put it out there, stop thinking about it too much. Because that was it. Sorry, mate, go on.
No, I was going to say, you've got to use those people around you, haven't you? And you've got to create that almost accountability little team. And we did have lots of cups of tea, didn't we, over chatting and getting your stuff out there. And I think it's really, really important to have those people that will kick you up the bum and say, come on, do it.
Get your act together, you know. Just, you're not going to know what reception you're going to get if you don't get it out there. So, like I said, I had to dig quite deep, do a lot of self-development, rely on other people as well to just build me up and, you know, just keep me going, keep me motivated. I mean, what I did find quite useful was that I thought that, you know, you needed to set yourself goals of what you wanted to achieve, set yourself objectives. And I found that because that's the way I work in my professional career, it was easily transferable over to, you know, doing that in my business. So I set myself objectives. What the challenges that I did find with that, though, Louisa, was the fact that because I was working full time, I was working long hours, I was working about 6 hours a week, the headspace wasn't there to be able to, you know, focus on the business how I really, really wanted to. And I think in hindsight, what I probably could have done then is outsourced somebody to do some social media for me, because I think that the business would have progressed a lot faster if I'd have got somebody to do it and help me with that.
That's about confidence again, though, isn't it? And thinking, because you're putting your brand and you out there, you're feeling very vulnerable. So you sort of think, well, what if it doesn't work? And then it's an expense, and then your mind starts going into overdrive. And just speaking about mind, I'm just going to backtrack a little bit, because I often talk about mindset, and it sounds like you've got an amazing mindset to keep yourself driven and focused. But do you agree that that has played a massive part in keeping you going, just keeping a very, and like the things that you have to do to keep a positive mindset, like your self-development, like your networking groups, keeping yourself accountable, they're all very integral parts of getting your business out there a little bit more, aren't they?
Absolutely. And I think on a, you know, you might, I think there's a couple of things really. There's a self-discipline, you know,
yeah.
doing what you need to do, setting yourself goals. I've got it here.
Ooh. Oh, yay! The journal. Oh, thanks for sharing that. Do you find it useful?
This is really, really useful, because it's got a planner for the week, it's got successes from last week, my goals for this week, you know, the gratitude log, and I'm a big believer in stuff like this, and I think planning for the next week, while it's down in this little book, you know, you just pick it up in the morning, you write down what you need to do, you open it again at the night, and you do what you need to do then for the next day. So I think that having something like that, and all it needs is 5 minutes. It's 5 minutes of your day, which is absolutely minimal. And I think it's important and it's key just to take that time to focus on that 5 minutes, just to think, give yourself some headspace, think about what you need to be doing in your business. I find it really, really, really useful. Like I say, sometimes I'll get home at night and I think, oh God, I forgot to do it this morning, now we're in a rush. And it's just getting up that few minutes earlier just to be able to pick that book up, get your planner out, and you know, and just fill it in. So I do that, and that's something that I say religiously do every day. Sometimes, like I said, it gets to the evening or a day goes by, and I wonder why I'm not as motivated, or I'm not feeling as good as what I normally do, and it's because I've not done something like that. Because it does take a lot of determination and motivation and discipline to follow up on stuff like that.
Yeah, it does play a big part.
Yeah, but that helps with the mindset as well, because the gratitude and, you know, the positivity that comes with it. You know, you're saying the right things to yourself. I mean, in the beginning, when I was talking about my lack of confidence, it was the things that I was saying to myself that were making me feel the way that I were feeling. You know, so
all culprits of that though, aren't we? That negativity creeps in, and you've got to control that mind, haven't you? They're like, stop it, Janine, or stop it.
Yeah, because sometimes you don't notice that you're doing it until you start feeling a little bit off, and then you think, well, actually, what am I actually saying to myself? You know, I'm actually saying that, oh God, nobody's going to like it, what if I put this out, and what if this happens? And, you know, and I'm not confident, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't feel like I know what I'm doing, I don't know where to pitch it, I don't know what to do. And because you're feeling like that, you just end up on a downward spiral. So I think key for me is just having the planner. The mindset comes with it. Do a lot of development. I do a bit of meditation as well. I like the meditation side of things, and all that needs to be is just 5-10 minutes again.
I struggle with meditation, and I'm always telling people that, but it's so integral and can be so like crucial to your mindset, can't it? Just reset a little bit, I think.
So you're absolutely right. You know, you do need to be able to. Sometimes we go off balance, don't we? We go out of balance.
Definitely.
And you know, and as time's going on, as I'm getting a little bit more mature, a bit older, you know,
as you will call it.
You're a bit more self-aware, and you know, a day or two will go by when I realise that I'm getting a little bit out of balance, and I just do a little bit of a readjustment. I have a tailored specific meditation to like, you know, just pull me around and balance me out again, and then I feel okay, you know. So yeah, and like I said, mindset is a massive thing in my life, you know, because we've got to be positive. You've got to try, and even in the current day, the situation that we're in at the moment, it's very, very difficult for people to be positive.
Oh yeah. Positive. Absolutely. I agree with that. It's so difficult, and especially for salons, we're obviously all closed, so it's really difficult. You can sort of, you know, I think you've got to do a lot of things at home to keep that mindset, you know, in a good place, really. So when, obviously, let's just backtrack a little bit. So obviously you work and then you've got your business. And you did mention a little bit about outsourcing, and wish you'd have sort of done that a little bit more in the beginning, and maybe you'd have got a bit further, a bit quicker. So what sort of things could you have outsourced if you'd have, thought about it and realised what things were available, I suppose?
Well, in some ways, I mean, the reason why I didn't outsource were, one, fear, because I were worried that somebody weren't going to deliver on what I were going to ask them to do. Second was I wanted to learn to do it myself. Because that's something that I've not done. I've never done anything like this before. So right, okay, let me educate myself. Let me find out what I need to do and learn. So I wanted to learn how to do it myself and just dip my toe in it a little bit. I think specifically it would be the social media aspect of things, the branding, the building your brand, getting it out there, the all the the social media platforms and the way that they change the algorithms and things like that, trying to keep up with that, and if you've got somebody in an area who's specific to that area and who knows those inside and out, it's so much more quicker for them to do it than it is for you to start learning and you're not knowing enough about it, so you're just bumbling along and not really getting the reach that you actually want to be able to get your brand out there. So I think for me it was specifically the social media and the marketing aspect of the business that I would have probably, in hindsight, I should have outsource that, just to get the brand out a bit quicker.
Yeah. Do you know what I've often found? That I think, speaking from experience myself, I feared putting it out there, or when I did outsource, people weren't delivering what I expected. Now, I don't entirely think it's their fault. I think some of it was mine, and because I think because we don't have such an understanding of social media or different things, or we might not have done back in the beginning, that you haven't got a strategy in place. And when people talk about a strategy, for people who are very new to it, you think, I don't understand what you mean. Surely you know the strategy because you're a social media expert. That's what I was thinking. I thought they should have my strategy and they should know. But how can they know what's in your head? And I think this is a bit of a battle for you and for them, because you want to do it yourself because you know what you're trying to say, but we don't know how to put it out there. So it's about sometimes finding that right person that can help you with that strategy, or if you know what you want to put out there, be very, very clear on what it is you need to get, like how you need to get your product out there and what you need to say, and then maybe that's when we can feel more comfortable outsourcing.
I think you're absolutely right, Louisa, and I think in some ways I was fearful that the passion that I'd got for mountain biking and for my clothing range wasn't going to come across if somebody else were doing it, and it's almost, I wanted it to be a bit more personalised.
I like that again. It's your baby. You want people to see it how you want them to see it. You don't want someone else's spin on it. You want yours, but we don't have enough experience, so it's a very difficult situation. I think, like I said, it's just a constant battle for yourself.
It is, it is. It is a constant battle. I don't think that there would have been anything else that I could have outsourced at that time, because my products were being made, and it was something that I was doing alongside my full-time education, a full-time job.
Taking us back.
A full-time job. I was quite in a fortunate position. Well, I was in a position where I reduced my hours down at work to focus on building the business, which I thought, I took that time to be able to do that, and I was, and I thought the effort that I put in, it was constant, and I did do that. The effort that I put in, like I said, I was educating myself. It was hard work. It was really, really hard work. Now, I weren't under any illusion that when I started a business that it was just going to take off straight away. I weren't under any illusion. I was quite realistic about that and thought, I'll give myself anything between 2 to 5 years to be able to become what I would consider myself successful.
Yes.
We have his own little goals and his own little measures on success, don't we? But for me, that I thought, give me 5 years. So just going back to that, I've lost my train of thought.
it happens. No, don't. So we set ourselves goals, a 2 to 5
Yeah.
plan, not under any illusion.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I was just trying to explain that I weren't under any illusion that it were going to be something that were quick and easy, and that people would start buying my product straight away.
Yeah.
You know, and what I wanted to do was not just focus on buying and selling products. I wanted to focus on a lifestyle for women and encouraging women to go out cycling.
Yeah.
So I sort of detracted away from the fact that sales, pushing sales, to being a bit more personalised. Of I'm Janine. I've more of a personal branding around it and a lifestyle brand that were connected to that clothing range. It's the effort that I was putting in. I wasn't getting the return in the beginning. And that was quite hard, and it's soul destroying, you know, and that already going into it feeling not very, very confident about it.
Yeah.
It just chipped away at you, and that's why going back, it's important to have the right people around you to keep bringing you back up, and having good routines and right mindset, you know, and having a good routine to be able to deal with stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I would say for the first sort of 9 months that it was a lot harder than what I actually thought. For the first 12 months really, and it's still hard now. It's not easy now by any means, you know, but I did have that focus time of pushing the business and getting the brand out there. The return that I got for it was not what I expected, you know, so that was disheartening again. You know, it was very difficult. I used social media platforms to get my brand out there and to sell, and to try and direct people to my website. So I did the usual thing, like, you know, making sure all my website was up to date, doing all the SEO work on it, doing blogs, you know, trying to expand into blogs, because I was thinking I don't want to be just posting on social media about selling, because people just scroll straight past it. So I was thinking, you know, what value can I actually add to individuals, to women mountain bikers, to give them some encouragement, some advice around, you know, to drive them to my website so that they could click on and look at the store as well. But, you know, and again, sitting down and writing a blog, we know how hard and difficult that is and how time consuming it is. You're putting your work out there, you're thinking somebody might challenge it, you know, again, it's the mental aspects of trying to deal with that, isn't it?
Yeah, you really do have to get to a point where, not I don't care, but you just have to think, I'm putting it out there. Other people do it, and, you know, some people do take a lot of, you know, criticism or flack or whatever you want to call it, but there's a lot of people that will get a lot of value as well, and I think you have to just, you know, what's the song, like, haters gonna hate, I'm not gonna sing it. You know, it is what it is, and I think you have to just think, well, you know, if I don't put myself out there, somebody else will, and I think you've just got to try, and you've got to learn. So when you do get criticism or feedback, we'll call it, you know, I always say you've got to take it on the chin, and you've just got to think, well, okay. And I know that you've actually got another string to your bow really through doing this, because of where this has led. Yeah. You actually started, you know, a different stream of income kind of thing from not just your clothing range. It's actually expanded into you've almost got like potentially multiple streams of income coming in, or you can have, can't you? You've got you know, like, I'm just talking about your trekking and your so I'm trying to like lead to that point. So if you talk about how you ended up sort of like expanding your business a little bit more from just a clothes, I don't mean just, you know what I mean, from what you initially set out to do and how it's
So, you know, because things were slow. It's slow to get your business running. It's slow to get the sales. And I thought, right, you know, I do need to generate more income coming in. I need to look at what I can actually do. I've been mountain biking for many years. So I decided to become a mountain bike coach. So I do social rides, do guided rides. I do coaching sessions for people wanting to get specifically into mountain biking, just making them so they're actually safe on the bike and they know how to handle a bike. Because if you don't know how to handle a bike, and, you know, it can be quite dangerous. And if somebody falls off a bike, you know, it can be quite traumatizing for them.
You've as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I've experienced got it
on the t-shirt whatever the scene is.
So that was something that I particularly wanted to set up, and I actually that was one of the skills that was transferred over from my professional career, because I've always developed, coached, and professionally developed individuals that I've actually worked with. So I found it quite easy to transfer that skills over to telling people and teaching people how to ride bikes safely as well. So that was quite interesting. I really I get a lot out of it. I really get a lot out of it.
I can tell your passion for that is coming across straight away. Like, I'm buzzing.
And that just continued progressing on, really, to the point where there's coaching sessions, such as social guided rides. The only thing for me is that I enjoy it that much that it's a balance between knowing what to charge and whether to do it for nothing, because it's a passion.
Because at the end of the day,
you've got to have a good business sense. I'm exchanging my time, and I'm adding value to people by explaining to them how to ride a bike, or
I think a lot of people can relate to that, because we all go into that from a passion point of view, and you think, well, I only need to make a little bit, and you don't realise that by charging a small amount, you're almost I always think you're devaluing the industry. So same with you, really. Like, don't devalue your time or your experience. Like you just said, you've got over 20 years experience doing what you're doing, and you're giving that away for free. And I'm sure there's always things that you can do for free, but you do. I know you, and I know you do give a lot of value.
Yeah.
So it should be free. Your blogs are for free.
And so that's some of the income streams that I've got, and then realistically it's moving on a little bit further now, and particularly around mountain bike mindset, because I've raced mountain bikes. I've done a lot of work around sports psychology and mindset work, how to deal with overcome injuries, how to get your mind in your right frame of mind for racing. So I've set up another business line called Mind Fit Bike Fit.
Okay.
And so that is something that is, like I said, it's more of a coaching. So that is just in its infancy.
Wow.
But this is something that, again, it'll be targeted on that. It'll be online. There'll be resources for mountain bike racers to specifically click on planners. It'll be online, courses. So I'm quite excited about that as well.
Wow. So gone from this full-time job, you've cut your hours down to manage the two, so you can sort of like get your business out there a little bit more. You've acknowledged some of the things that you could have done differently, like your outsourcing, and get people on board to help. You've gone from feeling sort of quite vulnerable to now you've not just got a clothing range, you've got your guided rides, your trekking, and your advice, and your and stuff like that, and then you've got this new adventure now. So I think, wow, that's a journey and a half.
Well, when you're actually saying it out loud, you don't actually realise what you're doing, do you? And I think that's why it's important to acknowledge those wins and that progression, because when you look back, because it's incremental changes, and to your business, you don't actually, or your personal and your mindset, your whatever you're doing, it's incremental. You don't actually notice it until you start.
So it's just all the time, non-stop. Yeah. That's why we need to sometimes have these journals, so we can look back and assess. And when you've now just said it out loud, what an amazing journey you've actually got.
And it's been exciting. It's been a bit turbulent. It's been exciting, and I've had to look at the business and think, right, okay, I'm in a position now where I expected it to be doing a lot better than it was. And right, okay, which direction do I need to go in now? And going in that direction. But being mindful that we need to be working on them all and not just focus, right, okay, so you're trying to do a bit of juggling plates, isn't it? That's what it is.
Time management is another one that's going to have a whole different topic, but we'll come into it, won't it? But I think especially, I think it's never been more relevant as now. So like, obviously we're in this pandemic and people are looking at their businesses, and they are having to look at other avenues that they can take their business to keep themselves, relevant and up and running, really. So you have got those exercises that you can focus on now.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can't do your trekking at the minute and that side of it, so you can still do your online stuff and focus on that.
And what I'm finding is that there's a lot less people still ride over winter time, but the sales drop off throughout the winter period because people don't want to get the jerseys dirty. They don't want to, that's just the way it is. What I would say is, just on that, is it is quite seasonal for the UK. Yeah. However, what I should have done is probably marketing in places like New Zealand and Australia.
Wow. So yes,
because it's their summertime.
That's a confidence thing again, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You can look it there, you think, oh, I can't do that. And I think we all need to sort of like have a reality check. Yeah, I can.
Yeah, and the thing is, social media brings you closer together, and it's only because I've been doing some more marketing, more social media, that I've noticed that, there's people that are following us now that are from their summertime to be able to sell some of those jerseys. Wow. So what I'll do then, leading up to the winter time this year, I'll start promoting and have some targeted marketing for those areas, so I can continue with the sales over winter time. So I was telling you that. Why was telling you that? Oh yeah, because winter sales normally drops off. Yeah. And I'd start doing the marketing around sort of like to promote it for springtime in April. I'd do it about February time. Yeah. But with the current situation, I didn't think that people would be interested in sales, so I had just suddenly sort of like backed off a little bit, thinking, oh, people's not going to have money, they're not going to have this, people aren't working, they're not riding the bikes, they're not doing this. And I'd already talked myself into thinking that I weren't going to make any sales. However, what is really, really interesting is the fact that people have got more time on their hands. They're scrolling on social media. Yeah. They are still shopping, and I have had significantly more inquiries over the last 6 to 8 weeks than I have done.
People have got time on their hands, and I said this to a friend of mine. She said, I feel guilty putting stuff out on social media. And I said, hang on a minute, not everybody in the world is self-employed. There's 5% of the population that's self-employed, and they're the ones that are primarily suffering. Obviously, I know there are other people out there, and a lot has happened, and people are losing their jobs, and I'm not taking anything lightly on that. But there is also a lot of people who are still employed full time, and there's a lot of people furloughed, and there's a lot of people sat at home, so they are sort of scrolling through. And the amount of people that said to me, someone said to me the other day, I went and bought a hot tub because I had some extra money. I thought, how much extra money have you got? But people are looking what they can buy, and the weather's so nice, and we're so spoiled that we've got an hour's exercise we can do a day. Why not have a nice jersey to go with it? So.
Exactly. So that totally unexpected, really. So I were expecting to be focusing on the other income stream. Yeah. Obviously, I can't go out mountain biking, I can't go out trekking, I can't do that sort of stuff. But it's also giving me the time, the headspace to be able to focus on doing some more, trying to get more sales, trying to build the brand again. And I say build the brand again, I mean continue building the,
get it out there more.
Get it out there more.
It just shows we should never assume anything, though, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, I made that assumption and completely got it wrong. Yeah. So I think that is a lesson to be learned. Just get it out there, get your business out there. Yeah. The other thing
that we need to still be very, very relevant online, even though we cannot open our salon. Yeah. We need to be very, very relevant. That's a tongue twister.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I think for me now, it's just about continuing that momentum. Yeah, continue building on what I've already got, but also looking at diversifying into the mind fit bike fit things as well. So it's quite exciting. It's exciting times for me. Really.
I feel excited for you. So wow, thank you so much for coming on, Janine. It has been
welcome.
A pleasure to talk to you, and I'm actually buzzing from your journey because obviously I know where you've been. We've had so endless cups of tea chatting about stuff, but it's so exciting to see where you've come from and where you're going, and that you're still managing to do your job as well. So you must have a solid mindset. So have you got any tips that you just want to leave people with today? Just as a bit of a recap, any just top tips to keep your mindset in order, getting that balance and still having a job or whatever it is?
I think for me, setting up the business for me, in my head, reality, I wanted to walk away from my professional career and have a business that was financially viable. that I could live off. And it's not played out like that at all. So I think you've probably just got to be really quite realistic in your expectations, and don't set your expectations too high. Strive for goals, keep working towards goals. Don't set your expectations too high, because in business, when I've found that I'm setting up this business, it's been for the last 18 months, 2 years, it's been a roller coaster. But so that just keep pushing forward. Have people around you to motivate you, keep you going, to keep you in the right mindset. Get yourself a routine.
Give yourself credit for where you have got.
Yeah, absolutely. And get yourself one of these planners.
Yeah, get a planner.
These are amazing.
Thanks, Janine. Thank you so much for your time today. I really, really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Anytime. Let's get together and do it again.
Definitely. We can chat for England, so I can't wait.